Wow. Do believe we are streaming on all platforms currently. If anyone out there can contest that statement, let me know. I don't know. I guess you would have to be watching on multiple platforms. Supposed to start at 6 today. Got in a little late. There's a cornucopia of things to do prior to this. But glad you guys could show up. I ended up getting people dressed in suits with ties. They look like federal agents showing up to the house earlier. They were talking about some god shit with some church, Mormons or something. I don't know. If you're out there, you represent a religious organization. Not the best way to show up to people's houses, especially in these times. I mean, you shouldn't be going to people's houses anyway. It's rude to assume you know more than they do on their spiritual side. But for you to go up preaching whatever your God is, uh, Allah, whatever, uh, you show up in a suit in America, people can get violent because they might think you're the FBI or CIA and you're coming to Martin Luther King or JFK 'em. We got RFK running for president, and that's just a reminder that our government continues to kill elected leaders that fight for the people. Um, so yeah, don't show up dressed up in a suit. Just don't do it. Unexpected. It's dangerous territory. Even though they said they were with some God organization, I still think it might be a Fed. And, I didn't even open the door. Just can't do it. Couldn't bring myself to do it. I see familiar faces, including family, and welcome one, welcome all. Wherever it is. Be patient while if you leave a comment, because I'm looking at multiple screens, so it's like it gets confusing. But yeah, today is a big day. Um, we just had Cinco de Mayo, celebration of Mexican independence from the tyranny of white colonizers who killed and dehumanized them. Um, and then the very next day, we have the coronation of King Charles. um, it's just bad timing on his part. Biggest thieves in the world, um, the English, British, whatever, the West, however you want to define it. But yeah, we should be celebrating independence, not bringing in this fucking maniac who has family that hangs out with Jeffrey Epstein on his island regularly, organizing coups in governments, including the U.S. Um, if you aren't familiar, British, we had our revolution from the Brits, 1776. But they control America just like they controlled India and just like they control all these other countries through corporations. Our country is run by corporations. They have more power than any individual, any uh, uh, government entity. They control our government. We continue to give them trillions of dollars. So, like, rich creeps can hide their money in Epstein Island, go to Jeffrey Epstein, get him to be their money guy, and put that money in a tax haven. So other countries receive more of our tax money than we do, because most of these corporations are based in Europe. The biggest corporations, Facebooks and Googles and shit like that. Yeah, they're like they'll say they're Irish because they pay a lower tax rate. So Ireland gets the mandatory money that you have to pay these corporations because they get $1 billion deals, um, uncontested um, agreements with the government where they can get like $10 billion to spy on us. Then they'll hide it in another country and only pay taxes to that country and avoid paying taxes here. That's why we got all these problems in the U.S. But yeah, it's just it's kind of systemic worldwide at this point Because you would think like, yeah, you know, if anybody's gonna be celebrating uh, the coronation of the new king, it's gonna be like the people across the pond. Um, you know, let's see what they think of their new king. Holy smokes! 1 second. What the heck? 1 second. Technical difficulty. Oop. You can shove that coronation up your arse. You can shove your coronation. You can shove your coronation. Shove the coronation up your arse. You can't hear it. That's what they're saying. So it's just like, I mean, the thing that befuddles me, like, cause it was like some news clip I saw. They were talking about how Americans are going uh, to the UK to celebrate the coronation. I'm like, what? You might at that point, you motherfuckers just have all your freedom just ripped away from you. Like we had this. We have to say we had a revolution from the Brits because we acknowledge that they were tyrannical, evil, uh, dictatorial, uh, unfair practices, uplifting certain businesses. I mean, that's where the whole concept of the corporation came from. You know, it was like government authorized monopolies uh, uh, were pushed on countries from these motherfuckers, right? And if you're an American and you go to Britain to celebrate the coronation, it's just like, yeah, you like tyranny or you're benefiting from it somehow, some way. Either way, yeah, just stay over there. Why the fuck are you here? What are you celebrating? Unless you're going out there to throw tomatoes at everybody who was on Jeffrey Epstein's flight log. Um, it's just like I have no idea why you would even identify as American. Uh, if anything, go to France, join that revolution, take notes, bring that shit back to the U.S. You know, I just don't understand. I used to watch you like in 2016. Well, yeah, I used to let you watch me back then. Then I cut you off. No, it's just hard to keep up with all of the censorship. And even before I lost the 3 channels I did last year, I was getting notifications about people like, oh, I somehow it unsubscribed me from you, or I'm not getting a notification when you upload. So uh, fuck these entities like Google that buy up YouTube and all the social media sites that censor. Um, that's why you got NatesVlogs.net. That's where I'm posting my new content. Also, just uploaded a bunch of old stuff, older employee evaluations, rewinds. Um, and, you know, I got the new series set up. It's, you know, brought back the redneck. Now it's the woke redneck series. And, yeah, litany of other things. It's just, I'm branching out. But it's just, I can't post it on any of this shit. That I'm streaming on, with the exception of Rumble. I'm streaming on Rumble. That's got the best angle um, because they don't censor yet. Let me just say yet. Knock on wood. So, based on what you're talking about, what your evaluation for their jobs? What are my evaluations for the Royals? Man, I like what the French did in their earlier revolutions, Marie Antoinette and whatnot. Let them eat cake. um, yeah, they got like a bust of Charles's head in chocolate. If someone just happened to bust his head some other way, that would be interesting. I wouldn't advocate it, but I wouldn't go to war with the person who did it. You know, if I did run into the person who did it, I would have questions. Um, but yeah, no violence. Uh, yeah, it's like I said, it really just rubs me the wrong way to see anybody celebrating this. And for what it's worth, most people I meet in person don't do it. But it's just like the news is wetting themselves with giddy excitement of the idea of this motherfucker inheriting billions of dollars in wealth and land and property and all that shit, continuing to rob his subjects, not paying any taxes himself. It's just like how has there not been a revolution already? Like you guys are right next to France. You should let some French people come into your country and show you the way. I mean, I'm trying to set up some kind of a um, what is the program where they swap students, foreign exchange, um, with French people, because we need more revolutionary folks. Because I mean, they had their revolution triggered by a raise in the retirement age by 2 years, and their retirement age is still lower than America. They still have health care, universal health care. Um, so it's just like for you to be that close to France and still be like missing the point, swing and a miss on the revolution. I just don't understand it. Um, Especially they got they got British royalty hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein regularly, like Prince Andrew. I'm pretty sure King Charles did it too. But they paid to silence the corruption around Prince Andrew and all of his child pedophilia with taxpayer money. How fucked up is that? He's a sick, twisted individual, and you don't get to hear about it because they take your money to just go la la. You don't want to know that. Um, yeah. So uh, when it comes to the royals, I'm just no fan. I don't think anybody should be able to inherit a position of power. That's just the most fucked up idea ever, because it's just like it breeds corruption. It's like they're bred to think they're better than you, and while they're inherently just way worse people. Uh, I don't know, man. I should just pull up the clip. I used it in another video. Clip of King Charles like shooing away silverware because he didn't want to touch it himself. He had a servant move it. He thinks that shit is beneath him. Just what a despicable excuse for a human being. Uh, they fund Nazis. British royals funded the Nazis. We brought them in with Operation Paperclip. Um, that's why we continue to fund Nazis in the Ukraine, because like the West celebrates Nazis. Russia sacrificed the most to end the Nazis. Yet the Western countries think that they are morally superior, which is pretty fucking laughable. I'm just is anybody out there excited to see a royal? Like does anyone who watch me like piss themselves with excitement thinking about King Charles running a country, his first job ever, 80-year-old man just got his first job running a country, like zero to king, like real quick. All he did was so far has been a philanderer, uh, hung out with the Epsteins, had dinner with sociopaths who carve up people, funded those people to like go in coup governments. It's just like, is anybody happy to see that kind of shit? I hope not. I truly do. I'm a bigger fan of pharaohs. The pharaohs. I'm not saying they haven't had like some corrupt governments in the many millennia that they existed before the West came to power. Because um, the West was the foundation of the West comes from Africa, because they looted and pillaged Egypt. Oh, 1 second. Uh, But yeah, they looted and pillaged Africa. Then they take credit for all of the discoveries that were made in Africa, and say that say that they're somehow extensions of the West and the Roman Empire. Um, and then they deprive black people of that history, because because they want to take it themselves. It's just like what they did with the Nazis. You know, they took on the Vedic swastika because while the West was in India, they saw these advanced civilizations that were around thousands of years before the demelanated people of Europe were even thought of. And they were like, well, you know, if they had all this advanced technology, it must have been white people. So they took credit for it. And they were like, yeah, we're going to reappropriate this swastika, and we're just going to make that the Nazis' emblem. And yeah, and then tarnish it for the rest of history. Because, you know, for now it's like forever linked um, to the Nazis and Hitler. And most people have no idea of his original history um, from India. Because, yeah, whenever they see something they like, they steal it. That's why they call the rise of the West the end of history. Because, like, yeah, as soon as they get control in your country, if they see something they want, they pretend they made it. that's like that inspired people like Thomas Edison, because he never invented shit. He took other people's ideas and got rich off of them, being closely connected to the government. Um, yeah, same with Bill Gates. He's one of those people who hangs out with the royals. He got knighted because they talked about it while they were hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. Or Bill Gates was at a party with Prince Andrew. He was like, "Oh, you like taking credit for shit you didn't make? Me too. That's what I built my business on: robbing people and molesting children." But yeah, it's I like to think people are gonna wake up to it. People are, you know, and this like a whole football field, like you know, it's a different kind of football, soccer. I'm gonna call it proper football because I find American football just silly. You know, they have something called a Super Bowl, and whoever wins that is the world champion. Even though everybody who's playing it's all the only American teams, so nobody else can play. And then when a team in America wins, which inevitably is going to happen because they're all American, they call them world champions. It's just ridiculous hubris. And of course, if you know the history of football, it's because Teddy Roosevelt didn't want people to get soft, get them normalized to violence, so they're ready for war. Yeah, so good times. Yeah, but yeah, I had a tumultuous week outside of this shit. Lot of blessings in there too, but it's just been pretty busy. I also got invited to this program. It's going to help me get a little bit more money um, in a field outside of social media, but it'll still allow me to be a writer. Well, I mean, writing will be a part of it, but um, it's a theater program. So I'm excited to get started. I still gotta set up an appointment, or they're gonna set it up with me. I'm waiting for an email from someone, but it's a nice little paid opportunity to well, not just my stories. Cause I'm probably gonna start working on the other people's shit. Um, but the idea is that you know, I got some stuff written. I got like a whole little musical written, and I want to turn that into a theatrical production. And well, I kind of had a scene from it air last spring, and you know, I was excited to, you know, have my first scene in a play. However, I had no creative control. Like I didn't direct. I couldn't act in it. I didn't even have really any say in the fucking wardrobe. I mean, I brought some stuff that kind of got used, but it looked different. It sounded different, like, and just not in a good way from what I had in mind. So right now I'm working on amassing the power to have more control when something like that arises again, because it's I can't express the level of vexation when I go from doing these kinds of videos, you know, where I have like I'm the writer, I'm the actor, I'm like just I'm in charge of wardrobe, set design, all that shit. I got to do everything on my own, which can be a lot, but you know, like I have say over the final product. You know, that's like really what I want. And last spring, it was just like watching somebody else fuck your wife. You know, it's just like you want to do something, you want to do everything differently. But yeah, they're just doing it like some way totally different, and it was hurtful because I'm like, this just did not represent what I wrote at all, and also even the writing, like I had like scenes, part of the scene taken out, because the director didn't want the word guillotine used, and yeah, so it was just like, yeah, that kind of negates the whole point of the scene because it was like building to something else. But that's just when I realized, you know, 'cause I never thought of myself as a director. I prefer, you know, I used to always want to be an actor when I was a kid. Then I got into acting. I realized actors just, you know, model other people's words, you know. So I realized, okay, I definitely want to be a writer, you know. My most successful, most viewed content was stuff that I wrote, you know, stuff that I had control over. I did stuff with other people. It just not, you know, wasn't as big, you know. I mean, obviously I got censored for, you know, saying what I want to say, but without like government intervention at YouTube, YouTube, they have the ability to invest in a fucking medicine that harms millions of people, but you can't speak out against that medicine, even though because they're directly invested in it. It should be illegal. It is illegal. I mean, but you know they control the government because they were started by the government. Um, so yeah, you know when you got like stuff like that, you know you take that out of the equation. Um, I just I thought it would be different, but it's just like you know the entities I end up working for. Um, are controlled by the same people, same corporations. So it's like every theater I've worked for um, has been funded by Bill Gates, right? He's one of those people who um, I came out strongly against years ago. But you know, as soon as the pandemic hit, it was like fingers pointed at him. Uh, I was pointing the finger at him when it was crazy to do so. Now everyone's starting to realize, hey, this motherfucker's profiteering off of this shit heavily. People are starting to catch up. Um, but yeah, he's funding like literally every outlet that I can find to uh, express uh, my hatred for all that he's doing and all of my concerns. So it's just like I don't know how to circumvent that. I'm still figuring that out, but it'll get done. And it's just me moving up on with this program is definitely steps in the right direction. Um, because as I move, you know, because one of the director of the last spring play, uh, she was one of those people who um, I vehemently disagree with on a whole litany of things. Um, she was one of those people like, "Ooh, I'm waiting for uh, the new booster. As soon as they bring it out, I'm gonna be taking 5 of them. All this shit." And meanwhile, she got the disease that she got all these boosters to protect her against like multiple times. Like she'll be sick multiple times in the same fucking month, right? I had the disease she got the vaccine for one time, and then it lasted 2 days. She got it multiple times in the last weeks, and she can't put together like maybe this thing that I'm taking is making shit worse, you know. But you know, there's new evidence coming out um, that the stuff that she was taking was not good for her. But I don't think she goes to the same sources as me. But I mean, it's a matter of time before it gets to her. Hello, and welcome, hero. It's good to see you. I hope you remember me. How could I forget? How could I forget? You're the hero that we don't deserve, but we need. It's good to see you. Yeah, and like I said last week, I mean, I did a live show last week. I'm gonna try to make Saturdays my day to do it because I know I had like a way more regular routine, like doing it daily. That's when I had like just regulars popping in, and I know I got out of the loop, but that's just life um, getting pretty heavy. That's just I'm having to develop new skills because I'm getting new tactics to get the same shit out. So um, yeah, so like I said, I don't know if you were here, but I just mentioned I'm in a theater program, um, and yeah, so it's a way of me financing some of the ideas that I've been trying to get out through my social media for decades at this point, and they've been silenced, but I'm picking up momentum elsewhere, and for the longest time I thought that maybe I can figure out a way to do it on social media, but my shit has been mad suppressed. So I've been exploring other avenues. However, I just miss the fuck out of you guys. Like I don't miss any of these platforms. I just miss the people who watch me on the various platforms. Primarily YouTube. I know um, my YouTube base is just hard to keep up with everything. Right now, only thing I got is my tech channel. A lot of people weren't keeping up with that. That was my lowest subscribed channel. I got to be careful when mentioning certain things on here because right now I'm also streaming on there. But the goal is to get you guys over on my Rumble, or really NatesVlogs.net, because Rumble might start censoring me soon. I mean, they haven't yet, but I don't trust any of these motherfuckers. So, if you haven't already followed me there, do it. And just if that channel goes down, just NatesVlogs.net is where you can find my content. And I've been on a tear uploading some older rewinds, employee evaluations. Hey Nate, I hope you're doing good. Hey, remember F at full screen? I wonder what happened with that. Is there another way to see your content? Yeah, there's multiple ways. NatesVlogs.net, and it's spelled NatesVlogs, NatesVlogs.net. I upload through rumble.com. I'm NatesVlogs over there as well. And probably my most comprehensive back catalog is going to be at Odyssey, because it um, synced all of my YouTube videos, all of the ones on NatesVlogs. Yeah, so like the rewinds, employee evaluations that were over there, they're over at rumble.com. Let me see. What the hell? Ooh, ooh, ooh. We are going to wait. What is this? It's taking me to a different website. Cause yeah, and just for the record, oh my goodness, the Odyssey. Oh Jesus. I was just trying to verify the web page. Yeah, it is ODYSEE. It redirected me to some other site. Yeah, odyssey.com. What the hell? There you go. So odyssey.com slash Nate slash at NatesVlogs. You got the rewinding GI Joe, which is very I guess it's very pertinent because I did like the remix, um, the coronation remix is what I'm going to call it right now, but it's mocking the Prince Charles and whatnot. But yeah, if you could see, it's like a lot of stuff. But Rumble.com is probably uh, preferred because it doesn't have as many videos, but the newer videos get posted to Rumble.com because that's how I upload it on NatesVlogs.net. And for me to post it on my Rumble, I take all the ads out. So if I did like a sponsored video, like I did sponsorship before the video, I'll cut that shit out and chop it up in a way where, yeah, you don't have to worry about any sponsored content. I mean, I don't know if they put an ad before my stuff, but it's not gonna be in my video. And I make sure it's no ads on NatesVlogs.net. Um, because I think we need the death of advertisement. Google was created because they were trying to turn the internet into just censored, moderated version of the internet. That's like my first website. I had to go through AdSense. I mean, it was another way to sponsor or another way to put ads on my website. And I was going with them for a while. Then Google came, and there was no way to avoid it after a certain point because I had to start an AdSense for me to become a YouTube partner, and then they put all their competition out of business. So even if I wanted to go back to the old advertisers, they're out of business because of Google, and they only could put so much competition out of business because they work directly with the government. Cannot express that enough. Some people just don't realize they were started in a Stanford lab funded by our tax dollars. It was the Bill and Melinda Gates branch of the Stanford lab because Bill Gates is working directly with the government. You just think about just the hilarity, the sad hilarity of someone like Bill Gates having the ability to spy on all of you, get all the dirt on you while he's going to Jeffrey Epstein Island. And we have no idea what he's doing over there. And he can laugh about Jeffrey Epstein Island, Jeffrey Epstein dying. Because he knows he had something to do with it because, Epstein had dirt on him. So, does Rumble have free speech? I mean, so far, the first video I posted up there was a video that me discussing a video that was censored on YouTube. So like it was a video of Ron Paul talking to Dr. Fauci, and it had been censored all throughout YouTube, right? So I did like a little experiment because I found out about Rumble through Glenn Greenwald. He said that they were a website that was championing free speech. So I put it to the test. So I took like something that I knew was censored on YouTube and other social media sites. Then I went and said a lot of the shit that ended up getting me taken off of YouTube to accompany the video. And so far, that video hasn't been taken down. You could say it was shadow banned. People didn't get to see it. I don't know. But right now, all I can go off of is it hasn't been censored. So until that changes, I'm just gonna say follow me on Rumble, and make sure you also you put NatesVlogs.net in your browser, so in case they do start to censor, like you know where to find me. Because I used to think Google, I never thought YouTube would do that shit until they did. Then I just started having backup plans. I couldn't have just one channel. So, you know, I had NatesFlix. I mean, technically, I had my picks before NatesVlogs. That was my first channel. NatesVlogs was a secondary. But then I had to figure out a way to divide my uploads, which is complicated unnecessarily. Um, but you know, and I wish I could just say I want to upload this video and just have you know my audience go there, but I have to figure out a way to break it up because I thought I was protected. You know, I thought if one channel goes down, at least I'll have this other channel. Didn't realize that they'd take down all my channels simultaneously. You know, even my Mopix channel, I hadn't posted on that shit in almost 10 years when they took that shit down. But they just realized, I think it's an algorithm just looking for my face, looking for my voice and my content. Because it's just like, one day I was like, okay, you know, that'll be my backup channel, but it just went down with the rest of them. So, who knows? I know the government is, they have many facets and they have many despicable, traitorous swine in their organization, and they infiltrate all of these social media companies, and they silence whoever the fuck the Nazis and the CIA and FBI want to silence, um, while wagging their finger at another country. It's just like we need a. I love all people. I don't whatever whoever the corporations tell you to hate, you need to love them extra hard and hate the corporation even more for trying to divide you because they want us divided and conquered, and fuck them for destroying free speech because we don't have like that's the one right we supposed to have. You know, we don't have a right to free housing. I'm not saying it should even be free, affordable. You know, if you work a job, you should pay less than 20% to your income to a house because we got more empty homes than we got homeless people. But we don't have a right to housing. We don't have a right to medicine. You don't have a right to see a doctor if you're sick, right? So you know, if the only right we have is free speech, and they're coming for your guns because they realize if you can't talk, you're gonna start shooting motherfuckers, right? But the only right you have is free speech. You don't have any of these other basic rights. You could die in the middle of the street and no one will say anything. At least you should be able to say something. But they don't even want you to have that because then you'll start calling out the shenanigans. And their whole empire is a house of cards, right? And now the dollar, you give all of the richest people in the world more money continuously. What does that do to your currency? It makes it worthless, and that's what's happening. We're seeing like all these countries getting away. It's like BRICS nations. They're saying fuck the U.S., fuck our dollar, and they're trading in their own currency. So now there's talk of total collapse of the economy because we gave all of our money to these crooks. And if all these worthless people can have so much money, the money must not be worth much. I'm seeing a mad stuff popping up on the Facebook. Sorry about that. Uh, I found all your old videos on Odyssey and was so excited. Well, I hope you enjoy that excitement. Watch them. Um, yeah, because one of the reasons I don't post regularly on Odyssey is because you have to have it's like a weird system. You can't upload without getting a certain amount of views, or you have to pay them. So it's just I checked out. Maybe I should see because I'm probably due for a few uploads, but it was just like a vexating process for me to like try to do it. But yeah, the more you watch, the more I can upload over there. But like I said, rumble.com is where all the new videos tend to go first. Yeah, I made it. What are we talking about? Well, we started off just talking about the royals, the despicable royal family. They think they're elite. Yeah, because today is the coronation of King Charles. Right after Cinco de Mayo, celebrating Mexican independence from the colonizers, people like King Charles's family. You know, the people who violently slaughter indigenous people, steal their shit, then give it to their ancestors. People like, or yeah, their offspring. People like King Charles, who never did shit with his fucking life, yet he's inheriting billions of dollars uh, uh, in money and as well as properties and all kinds of shit that he does not deserve. That's going to be used for hush money to keep his family out of the news when they go to the new Epstein Island. So yeah, and then we had a clip of like a whole football field of people saying you can shove the coronation up your arse because nobody wants to fund these weirdos. Um, your Mortal Kombat rewind is also still on Daily Motion. They're getting me through finals. Yeah, I gotta check out Daily Motion. I know I had like some stuff uploaded over there. Yeah, I think I stopped fucking with them because that was supposed to be the alternative to YouTube. I thought that they would allow me to have free speech. I did like um a test. I did like a employee. I still got the employee evaluation, the censored version of an employee evaluation that I uploaded on YouTube, and I tried to upload the uncensored version on Odyssey on Daily Motion, and it got censored. But before that even happened, I noticed that it was what was it, Juke and Media. They had like this whole front page spot on Daily Motion and Juke and Media. If you don't remember, it was one of those companies that I was pointing out that were censoring the internet. They were taking away people's ability to reference third-party media. Um, so yeah, so I didn't fuck with Daily Motion after that. I was just like, what the fuck am I going through all this extra shit to post on their website so they can censor me? Fuck that. But yeah, I'm gonna have to check out because I don't know what I got over there that I may not have somewhere else. Nate's reminds me our golden septima. Nate's reminds me our golden septima. What rewinds our golden septima? Well, thank you. Yes, I was excited to find the Shiro rewind again. I forgot about the Anaconda one. All are golden. Well, yeah, I think some of those are up on Rumble. I would have to check and verify. But then again, I thought my Mac and Me rewind was on Rumble, and I was trying to find it on there and I couldn't, so I had to upload it over there recently. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go through. I wish I had someone to do it for me. Someone who knows my content, knows what I'm forgot to upload, and they do it for me. Because sometimes I've just been super busy, and yeah, it's just difficult because you never know what the turnout's gonna be. But then again, I've had some videos do pretty well on Rumble, so just gotta step it up, step it up. But I also got like new content that is on there on the way over there, new kinds of content. So yeah, just be aware of that. Those are called priority creators, Garnet. Usually big corporations or have many millions of followers. What are you talking about? Certain people can say whatever they want on YouTube. Why is that? They can say whatever they want because they don't want to say what I want to say. Like they were talking about. Yeah, they work with a corporation. They don't usually call out the corporation that's funding them, right? I had issues because I was calling out corporations even when I was like working directly under them. That's what the whole fuck full screen movement was about. They got bought up by AT&T. They became the empire, the evil empire. I started calling out what they were doing. They were like actively destroying the internet. taking away people's ability to reference third party content. And yeah, so I started calling that shit out. Started calling a lot of shit behind the scenes out. And as soon as you start pointing out that the emperor has no clothes, you know, like they'll take you off the internet. And yeah, some people they don't see the value in that. But you know, like I come from a family. Both my parents were killed at military bases, knowingly poisoning them. Right? I can't get behind. They had at my school they had some kid. He was talking to a recruiter. You know, because they're trying to recruit people for these new wars, pretending they give a shit about them. Recruiter probably just trying to recruit new kids so he can get out because he doesn't want to go to war with China or Russia. You know, um, yeah. So it's just like stuff like that. It just doesn't sit well with me. Um, but some people they're okay with it. You know, I view corporations as the bane of my existence, of all existence. You know, um, I'd rather see all of that welfare that they're taking from us distributed to locally owned businesses exclusively, right? But you know, some people they don't think about these things or they don't care. You know, they benefit from it. It's like what was it? The Fine Brothers. You know, they could probably say whatever the fuck they want because what they want is just in line with what full screen wants, and full screen is AT&T, right? And they you know they'll gladly silence people. I made a video about them because they were taking people off of YouTube for referencing their style. Their style was taken from me because I was doing it before them. Because I mean, they had videos of people reacting to videos. Other people, they would like videotape people's reaction to a video. I was reacting to my own videos and providing my own commentary, and they were taking other people's commentary, and they wanted to profit off of this style. And it's just like, and they were silencing people who just had something similar to that, even though they're not the originators of that shit. But you know they get uplifted by the system because they're just as corrupt as the company they work for. They're just as useless, um, just as talentless. And when you don't have any talent, you just gotta take out of your competition's pocket, and that's their business model. You know, I have to call that shit out because it makes no sense to continue that way, right? I don't feel threatened if someone else is up and coming. I get annoyed when the people who are up and coming are destroying the culture, and you know they're teaching all the wrong values, making people think that certain dumb shit is cool. You know, doing prank videos, pranks in the hood. I remember when my NatesVlogs channel got taken down. Um, it was at the apex of what is it, the pranks in the hood videos, where it's like these racist ass white people were going into black neighborhoods harassing black people, and then just trying to get a negative reaction, and then just acting like they're savages because like they flipped out when you spit on them or you threw a balloon full of pee on them, you know. um it's like, oh my god, they're savages. And those videos weren't taken down. You know, the like public harassment and encouraging like, you know, that kind of silly shit. I'm making videos in my house. I'm making videos just saying fighting people in the street, that's not good. Let's not do that. Making fun of the people who think it's cool, right? Um well, really, the video that got me taken down was me videotaping myself getting harassed by LAPD. Like pointing that kind of shit out. No. But you can go and harass people in the hood, and it's just like, what are we teaching when we say that that's okay? That's why Google evil, Facebook evil. Uh, well, really, the government entities that control them are evil because, you know, like I said, Google, they packed to the gills with G-men, CIA agents. We all know CIA was infiltrated by Nazis, Operation Paperclip. The inbred cousin lover royals, The royals, yes. They're too blue blooded to consort with you poors. They only can fuck other rich royal people in their family. That's the only people deserving of the D. Oh, and of course, children. If you talk to Prince Andrew, you're right. Uh, Nate, I love your content and have been a longtime fan. We chatted once when you let people call you, and I was at work at the time. Well, I'm glad to have done that. I was thinking about bringing that back too because I still got a public number. I was thinking of doing something. 'Cause I used to have like my videos in with like a voicemail. Um, that I would like have people call in like they're calling to work and ask for a time off or whatever. Uh, but yeah, it just started. Man, I got some really good ones. Man, I love you guys for the really good ones. I also got some really weird ones, and the weird ones were like a little too weird. And also around this time, I had like instances where my address got figured out and it was published on some websites, and then I was getting people who were just like letting like sending me messages. I mean, I used to have like a much closer connection with my viewers, and I realized that distance was needed, not because there aren't amazing people, but because the world does have weirdos. I'm not saying that was you, but when I did that phone call thing, when I had like people call and I like actually picked up, I got some weirdos. Um, but not all weirdos. I'm sure it wasn't you. I'm sure you weren't the one telling me that my butthole was blowing a kiss at you or whatever. But it's just um, it's got to be more controlled. And I had like people following me to my house. It just shit just got weird. But that's I guess that's far enough in the past. But then again, I don't want my new address to be figured out either. um, you were my first reaction channel. Now that I think about it, I was watching NatesVlogs. Well, greatly appreciate being your first. That means a lot to me. I want to pop that sweet cherry. Um, I remember I called you once. That was a long time ago. Cool to talk to you though. It was good talking to you too. I'm assuming you weren't the one who was saying your butthole's blowing a kiss at me, right? Um, Definitely not. But I understand that for sure. That's creepy as fuck. Yeah. And I just realized sometimes creeps just ruin stuff for me. Um, hey Nate, cool chalice, bro. Well, I appreciate it. Got the Horus Falcon, and then I got the Ankh. That's how people know it's mine because I got the Ankh everywhere. Other stuff, I get offended because multiple people have referred to it as a pimp cup. No pimping. Um, Pimp, you know who the pimps are. Pimps are the corporations. They're the ones taking your profit for all the work that you put in. They're the ones fucking you and stealing from you. What you drinking? I'm drinking from the Holy Grail is what I'm drinking. Nice little libation. Um, yeah, the crown jewels. I never knew that's how they got them until a couple years ago. Oh yeah, they got it from looting, killing motherfuckers. They built a device. It's like a vice that they used. I think it was Kenya because Kenya is the one who's continuing to sue the royal family because they killed so many of them, tortured a bunch of them, stole their land, and the corporations continue to pillage and loot the people of Africa, people of the world, basically. But they while they were in Kenya, they built a device that like squeezed the testicles, and then it got to a certain point, and it just cut them off. And it's just like this is what they're using their intellectual prowess to do. Of all the things they could be doing, figuring out, It's just like, I'm gonna squeeze your testicles and cut them off, torture you. I'm not gonna figure out how to not poison our water, how to make cars or energy, taking the poison out of this water so we can drink the water and power our homes and like live a cleaner, sustainable uh, lifestyle. It's just like it's kill, pollute, plunder, destroy, just the most evil people in the fucking world. And they think they're morally superior, and that's like the irony. You're not superior to shit. The worst of the worst. King Charles. Do you really think anybody in the fucking royal family? Do you think that they would continue their bloodline if they didn't have all the money and power to like kill people, rob them? If they couldn't say I got all this money in the world, you think anybody would fuck them? You think like, ooh, King Charles, I really want to grind on that. Nobody would fuck with them. You think if Prince Andrew, if he couldn't get like young girls who are being sex trafficked at Jeffrey Epstein Island, you think anybody would fuck him? No. Like, no, thank you. Like, you got like young girls from a young age who are like trained by the media to adore princes and want to be a princess. They got parents calling them princess, and that's the only outlet that they can like live that dream. And they still have to be sex trafficked to Prince Andrew for them to want to do anything. They have to have like the threat of violence, immediate violence put upon them for them to like get naked around this creek. And that's just like, that's a testament to how big of losers they are. And it's just like, just because they got all the money and the power that comes with that money, doesn't mean they're worth shit. The richest, most worthless people in the universe. And I wish they knew it. I wish someone had the courage to say that to their faces. Makes me almost want to get a plane ticket to Epstein Island just so I can say it like, yeah, you realize you motherfuckers ain't worth shit, right? Like you're sex trafficking these children. Yeah, I got here somehow. I took a private boat. But yeah, you realize these girls, they only want to fuck you because there's no way for them to catch an Uber from this island. So they have to ride your private jet. So then they'll ride your private parts to do that so they can get the fuck out of here. Even though you probably sacrificed a few of them at the altar. I don't know their whole their whole practice. I've heard some conspiracies, some theories about it, but I haven't been able to verify because I don't run in those circles. That's not my kick. I get for my whole life I just got vagina on my own merits. So if you don't want to fuck me for who I am, you want to fuck the stuff I can give to you, I'm not interested. Remember the dude that played Sam Collins, Servo, in your Human Samurai Cyber Squad Rewind? Did you hear about what happened between him and Marvel? No. I haven't kept up with any of the people in Super Cyber Squad, Samurai Cyber Squad, or whatever. I only watched that one episode for the rewind. I couldn't watch the whole season. It was one and done. It was just not my cup of tea. But yeah, I don't know anything about that. LOL. Back when you told them what your zodiac sign was and asked for theirs. Well, yeah, that's one thing. I mean, I never thought I would leave California. But once I left and noticed that no other police force treated me like California PD. Like their police are the most racist. They stopped me for the dumbest shit. I'm not even gonna say racist because I even had a white friend, and he came for money, but I don't know if he exuded the money because he got stopped a lot by the cops, and he was getting harassed by cops to an extent, not as severely as myself, but it's just like California is just if you read Grapes of Wrath, You know, like the police were there, like they were just harassing people who they knew were poor, and they called them Okies. Well, because they were coming from Oklahoma, but not much has changed. You know, that's why that part, I haven't read that book in a minute, but that part stood out to me because I'm like, yeah, you know, the police are there to protect a certain class of people, and I am not in that class. I had all my shit in order, but they were stopping me constantly because they hoped I didn't, so they can like fuck with me. And then by the time I started like having financial issues because you know I've been blackballed by YouTube, lost my channel that was to bring me all that money. Um, then Google bought the company that I was going to for the sponsorships that paid enough for me to stay out there. And then I had the IRS coming after me. I was like, yeah, you know, I started having that financial struggle. I didn't want to struggle in Cali because if I couldn't afford all of that shit, you know, the uh, license, registration, insurance, you know, if I couldn't be walking correct out there, I knew it was just a matter of time before I was just locked up. So I got out of the state and I realized, yeah, it's the experience I had was very unique to California. And now they got killer robots. You know, the first city to legalize killer robots was in the Bay Area, where I'm from, San Francisco, and that's just a small ominous precursor of the terror that's on the way out there. And I think that shit needs to be fought tooth and nail because that is an extremely dangerous precedent to set. Same with they got the Chat GPT is based in San Francisco, right along with the killer robots. They had the Godfather of AI coming out against AI because he sees the militarization of it. Um, yeah, you know, California, you know, it is definitely fucked. It'd be nice to see it get unfucked, you know. But you know, it's so much money being thrown around to send the state and really the country in the wrong direction. You know, I'm not gonna hold my breath on that. Um, he just came out and said he was supposed to be one of the next faces of Marvel. And when he went to the audition, the director told him to strip, and he tried to do things to him. And when he said no, he was dropped by his agents. I think he related it to Terry Crews harassment. Well, yeah, that happens. I remember the first time I went to Florida. It was supposed to be a business opportunity. Um, it sounded good. The lady who invited me ended up working at Google. Um, but yeah, I get out there. I'm thinking it's gonna be, you know, she said I would have a place to stay. Thought it was gonna be a hotel. We were staying at her parents' place, right? And I thought, okay, I'm gonna stay here. At least I have my own bed. She expected to share it. Um, I should have known something was up. We went out to it was like a Target or something, and like everything I would look at, she would like put it in the cart. And it's not even like I was looking at it like I wanted. I'm just like, what is that? What is that? But I would look at it. She'd put it in the cart, and then she ended up like buying everything I looked at, and she was trying to give it to me, you know, as a gift. And she was telling me to move to Boston, so she could make me a taken man. Like, what the fuck are you even talking about? And I was like, no, I'm good. And then you know, we ended up um, like I had to stay in her parents' place, right? I found out like I had to share the bed with her. Um, she came in the bed while I was like laying down, and she started like touching me, and I just started. She was like, "Come on, you want to be a taken man?" I just pretended to be asleep because I just didn't. I didn't know what to do because my ticket was in her possession. And yeah, by the time I just ended up getting out of there, I never contacted her again. It was just like, yeah, you know, when someone uses their position and their power to try to dangle something over you, like a carrot over you, and then they try to control and coerce you. I think that just really speaks to their lack of character. Ooh, let me move that over there. You know, it's just like some disgusting individual, but they exist, especially in Hollywood. You know, I had a friend of a friend. I wouldn't describe this person as a friend, but he was someone who knew my friends, and it was actually at a bar where I guess you could say a lot of douchebags go, because it was like the place in Hollywood where, you know, like producers would go to celebrate and all this shit. But it was this friend of a friend. He was like the casting director for, you know, like the one of these major studios. So he mostly reality TV. So he was in this. He was in there one time. He got really fucked up, and he was bragging about, like, you know, getting head from desperate um, women. And not, I say women for this one thing, but it was like I found out it wasn't just women. He was like getting head from the transgender community as well. Um, but he was just getting head from these desperate people who really wanted this part, and he was just like, yeah, woo, she did this to me, and it's just like, did you earn it? Like, you were just dangling a part in front of her, so that's why she allowed you to dangle your part in front of her, you know. And it's just like, who would brag about this shit? Who would think that's cool? You know, like if she was just, you know, she just wanted to suck your dick because she wanted to, she appreciated the flavor. That would be something else, you know. But it's just like you get like someone desperate. Um, that's not like, you don't get any cool points for that. That should be something you should just like sit and in silence and just think about. Like, just like, am I living my life correctly? Like she was crying when she was doing it. She just really needed the money for rent. Did I just exploit this girl or this person? Oh, sorry. I'm ignoring the book of faces. What technology can do nowadays is pretty scary indeed. It's creepy. You can type it to create you something like a resume and we'll do it perfectly. Are you talking about the chat GPT? Um, yeah. Yeah, it's not your friend. Stay away from it. I mean, you know, it's like so many people just casually just go to it, just like use your brain, you know. And now they're like, you know, they're doing these there's websites that teachers have to use to try to decipher if someone used chat gpt. And it's just like, what are you paying to go to school for? What are you do you just let technology do everything for you? You don't develop your prefrontal cortex, figure your own shit out. At some point you're gonna have to like learn how to do for yourself. You know, you're gonna be totally dependent on this tech, and then you lose access to the internet, and you just can't think. Um, yeah, to this day I still haven't even played with ChatGPT. It's not like anything I'm interested in. I mean, it's funded by the Department of Defense. Like I said, in San Francisco, right next to the killer robots. Anybody else see Terminator, Mitchell's versus the Machines? Any other dystopian hellhole future where robots wiped out humanity? Come on, iRobot, something. You got to start to question, like, are these motherfuckers like really looking out for me, or is this like another mechanism of control? Are they making way for the next wave of Matrix? I'm leaning towards the Matrix scenario. I figured you lost Netflix. I figured when you lost Netflix, it was because they were trying to quiet you. Absolutely. I think it's funny that Facebook censors your swear words in the subtitles. Could you just say a bunch of gibberish to see what the subtitles put? Whippity woppity whoopity. Soupity sip sop zip zap. No, that was not me saying your booty hole was blowing kisses at me. Okay, well, thanks for clarifying. I thought California was the enlightened state. You know what? Um, I can understand why you would think that. I kind of thought that when I lived there. Um, because when you watch TV, all of the racist people they're portrayed with like deep Southern accents is like California, was it the South? They were the ones who were pro-slavery. To the North, they were the enlightened ones who embraced black people. It's not really the case. My dad was from Mississippi. My brother told me that my dad told him that while he was in Mississippi, and he left when he was young, like 16, 17. He lived he moved to live on his own. But he told, according to my brother, my dad told him he was never called a nigger while he was in Mississippi. But I know for a fact that our neighbor in California called him a nigger multiple times. Because we had a racist ass neighbor who was a correctional officer, and he had a meth lab in his backyard. I made a video about the meth lab blowing up because that happened, and I just remember my dad's reaction because he was like, he's like, I knew something was up. It's like, never have I seen someone on fire running out and not screaming, to get attention. Like they're trying to quietly put the fire out, like, shh, be quiet. that shit was mad suspicious. Like, you would think someone would be like, help, help. But they didn't want to draw attention to the meth lab that just blew up. But yeah, that happened in a racist ass correctional guard's backyard. And yeah, and I realized, like I said, my experience with the police, unique to California because it's systemic. Even my family who's in um, corrections, like I have a sibling who's a retired warden. I have another sibling who's a retired parole officer, and they're black and they hate black people just as much as racist white people do. They judge them. They're like, "Oh, those are those niggers. I'm a good, upstanding black person," and they judge people just off of like the most superficial shit. And that's because they're trained to. They're all military. The boot camp period is where they brainwash you. Certain people, the shiniest shit rises to the top of the toilet. And to the extent that I've seen them making strides in the right direction, it only happened after they retired and they weren't a part of that system anymore. And then they start to be able to see, like maybe I was kind of an asshole. Cause I remember one of my siblings called after, what was it, the Tyree? I think it's Tyree Nichols, the black dude who got killed by 5 black cops. After that happened, one of my siblings called to talk about the other sibling who was a retired parole officer. And I think it's because he saw what I've been seeing, which is like I could easily see him, the sibling doing that, because that's just who he was. Because he brought that shit. It's not like you work that job, then you go home, and then you become a different person. You take it with you. You're around hundreds of people. You talk down to them, dehumanize them. You judge them off the superficial shit. You take that shit home, and he was nasty to his own family, um, but it was profitable. Like that. Some people put money over doing the right thing. That's why, like, I try to be adamant about like certain things. Like, I turned down way more money than I got, and that's a large part due to me seeing the people who didn't have the courage to turn the money down and seeing how it corrupted them, how it destroyed their souls, and I just never wanted to be that. Um, but like I said, most of my family's military. I'm a soldier of love. Um, I can't see myself killing someone. I mean, maybe in self-defense, but I'm definitely not going to kill someone for the government that has killed so many people I love. This government has killed more of my heroes than Thanos and Darkseid combined, including both my parents. Um, so it's a little easier for me to just say no. Fuck this shit. I'm not going to play this corrupt game. The game is rigged. I'm not playing. Um, what it is, Nate? It is almost time to go. I didn't realize I've been on for like so long. Yeah, she was trying to have power over you. That's messed up. Yeah, it happens. Dang, like checking for plagiarism. I never even thought about that concept. I see these AI bots. Yeah. Yeah, I look forward to the day where just I mean I'm not saying AI can't be good. I'm not saying any of this technology. Robots can be good. But when you have robots and AI controlled by this government, right? It's not even the people who created, you know? Like I'm pretty sure the people who create all this shit, they have like noble ideals about what it should be doing, right? But when you put it in the hands of this corrupt ass Nazi infested government, all they can do is think of ways to fuck you over, to poison your water, kill you, take your shit, right? They're evil, right? So when you give them access to this advanced technology, they're only going to figure out like more ways to be evil with it. So that's why it's just like if you have any talents, you need to use that to overthrow this dictatorial, tyrannical government. Um, because if you don't, they will just use all of your brain children, all these beautiful ideas you have to like ruin shit. It's just like what is it? Oppenheimer. So it's a movie coming out about Oppenheimer. I don't know what to expect from that, but he's the guy who created the hydrogen bomb, the nuclear bomb that ended up killing hundreds of thousands of people, killing people on a scale that had never been seen by this culture, you know. Uh, but yeah, the he hated the idea of them using it for what they used it for, right? But at that point, like all they were funding was like that you can come to them, you're like, hey, I got a way of using nuclear energy to get us off of fossil fuels, make everything free, renewable. And they're like, nah, what else you got? Well, I could also use it to kill people by the millions and uh, destroy our water supplies, make it so that no vegetation can be grown there. People can't live there for several generations, maybe forever. And they're like, yeah, we'll go with that. We'll fund that. We'll fund the evil shit because that's what our government does. Because like how shit is created. You had something called ARPA, which became DARPA, and they figure out how to make weapons and how to bring those weapons like practically to everyday people. So like the internet seems like a good idea, keeping people connected and all that shit. Um, but they weaponized it, right? They use it to control you, control your information, silence dissenters of the heterodoxic thinking, right? But yeah, it's just I hope everyone's waking up. I hope people are keeping their eyes open because we had at this point 3 years of total lies about a certain procedure that was being forced on people, and even people who were gung ho about getting the medical procedure that was experimental when it first came out, and now it's not an experiment. We know it's not good, right? I've had like multiple families injured by it. I had a cousin have a stroke in her 30s from it, and it's just like they were all about it. Every media entity, all online sources that were allowed were speaking the praises of it, and then now those people who were all about it are starting to question it. So I like to think people are waking up. But who knows? The next scare might be more convincing. But I like to just hope that we don't buy it. We just go the way of France. So just when you think of the English coronation, just flip your middle finger at the King Charles and wave hello to revolution that's going on in France, and let's bring that shit here. Dang, like checking. Oh yeah, the base sucks now. Everybody being chased out to Vegas or Oregon. Yeah, yeah. A lot of the people I know ended up moving to Vegas because it was like dirt cheap. Texas was also big on there. Like they were basically giving houses away in Texas, and then I'm not saying this is related, but while everybody I knew was moving to Texas, right? I went back out there, found out everybody moving to Texas. Then they have what is it, Hurricane Harvey, and all those people died. It seemed like they were just being moved there, and then this hurricane came here. I don't know. I don't know if they're related, but I just don't trust my government, and I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past them. Never forget how me and my dad finally were able to finally bond over your videos. Oh man, that's sweet. And I appreciate that. That's like touching. I just want to leave on that. Where else are you streaming at? Well, Rumble is preferred. I mean, I can't see the comments on there yet. I'll figure that out. It might be the app I'm using. I'm also streaming on the censoring websites, YouTube's. Fuck this. That's gonna be the first place I'll leave. But I mean, I love the comments on there. You guys are quite engaged in the content, so I appreciate you guys. But fuck the platform this is. And Book of Faces. Once again, that's pretty. You guys are pretty engaged. Sorry, I've been missing out. But fuck this platform in general. If you out, try it out. If you're on a computer, it's free. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure all of the worst best things in life are free. You know, crack was free. They give you your first hit for free. Then you have your life ruined. Yeah, but I would never let the AI figure me out. Um, Later, Nate, and peace to everybody else. Yeah, I'm about to get off too. Night, LOL. Yeah. Forever a fan, Nick. Yeah, it's Nate, but I appreciate that. That's very close. It's an N name, one syllable. um, but yeah, I appreciate you guys for showing up, and we'll do this again next Saturday. Um, we'll try to make it a more regular thing. And if you haven't already, NatesVlogs.net for your new and old videos, new employee evaluations, rewinds, as well as the classic ones. So check that out, and more stuff on the way. And I'll see you guys again next week. So, toodles. Don't forget to be good to each other.